everyone, my name is Sirith, and this week we'll take a break from the Learn to Lead series to talk about resume writing. As COVID continues to redefine the way we live and work, there are a lot of people out there that are looking for jobs. Still, many others are wanting to change jobs. To that end, there's a lot of information out there which can get pretty daunting to go through it all. So to save you some time and potentially some money, Yakut and I teamed up and based on our combined 55 years of experience have handpicked the most critical resume writing tips, which by the way can also be applied to your LinkedIn profile. Opening statement or your summary. This is the elevator pitch answer to the question, so what do you do? We'll go over some examples of what a good and a bad opening statement looks like in a bit. Next is your skill set. List the skills here that further support the claims you've made in your opening statement. We will talk about skills, keyword matching, and use of buzzwords later in the video. Awards and recognition. It's good to list any recognition you've received in and outside of work. If you've spoken in public events, good to add here. If there are certifications that you're most proud of, good to add here. If you're chairing any public forums such as diversity and inclusion, good to add here. Next up is your experience, which talks about the roles you've had over the years along with your accomplishments. We'll go over examples of what a good and a bad accomplishment statement looks like later in the video. And the last section to mention here is your LinkedIn profile. And here are some quick tips. First is a good profile picture. It doesn't have to be a professional headshot, but a picture that shows your best, most authentic self. Second is the attention-grabbing headline. Make sure you have a punchy headline that talks about what you offer in one sentence. Mine is helping organizations digitize the way they work to generate multi-million-dollar savings. Note that I only used the one skill here and listed the one main benefit. The general format here is to list what you do and how it helps others in one sentence. Your About section. This should summarize your experience and contributions. You can actually use what you have in the opening statement of your resume on here. Next is your experience, where you list all of your jobs and the corresponding accomplishments. We'll talk more about what a good and a bad accomplishment statement looks like in a few. Now, for your skills and endorsements, make sure you add the skills that are genuine and aligned with your profile. Also, a nice touch is to ask some of your colleagues who have worked with you in the past to endorse you. Last is recommendations. See if you can get some genuine recommendations from people who have valued your work in the past. But don't ask people who you haven't worked with for recommendations. The ingenuity will show.
Make sure your resume does not read like the menu of a New York City diner, but the menu of an exquisite French restaurant. The opening paragraph should tell the reader what you're an expert in. Should be short, to the point, should never be 2 to 3 paragraphs long, and it should not be full of buzzwords. An example would be, if you're a marketing expert, your statement should focus on that and any supporting skills. So a good statement, as a sample, is a global marketing expert who ran multi-million-dollar campaigns for several companies, accomplished leader known for driving successful turnarounds. To the point. A bad statement would be something like, global leader of marketing with great strategic skills, overseeing a large budget, expert in financial reporting, risk management, operations, brain surgery, crisis management, and credit scoring. Now, I hope you noticed that I said brain surgery, which makes no sense. And there are lots of other unrelated things in the statement. Yet that's exactly what many opening statements read like. A bag of words, buzzwords, to make the opening impressive, but actually makes the reader question their accuracy.
Match the words you use to describe your skills to the words mentioned in the job description. This is called keyword matching, and hiring managers and job matching services do it all the time. And if you must use buzzwords, make sure you watch out for and avoid the most commonly used buzzwords like strategic or skilled or experienced. You can find the most commonly used buzzwords by doing a quick Google search. I'll give you an example. Use accomplished instead of experienced product marketing leader. Used analytical instead of strategic thinker. And use proficient instead of skilled project management expert.
Next to each role, give a one-sentence description to provide context. Then highlight what you accomplished in that role that would differentiate you from anyone else who would have had the same position. Ensure that those accomplishments align to and support your claims up top in your opening statement. Let's assume you were the head of loan operations in North America, XYZ Bank. So a bad approach would be, after saying that, you list what you've done as ran day-to-day operations, managed service delivery to clients, produced management reports, interacted with the regulators. Now, none of those things really differentiate you. These are things that you were paid to do. So there's nothing special here. A good approach would be right next to your role, then you put down responsible for managing the day-to-day operations and service delivery of loans to clients, 20 staff, $10 million budget. Underneath, you put down your accomplishments, things like re-engineered the process and improved productivity by X%, simplified financial reports and enhanced transparency to the numbers. Certainly 2020 will contribute to a lot of gaps in many people's resumes. I'll skip over them and I hope that the readers will not notice. They will. Instead, use them as an opportunity to provide more of an insight as to who you are. But be truthful, be fact-based. Example, you started a new company but went bankrupt and couldn't get back to work for a couple of years. These are all legit stories, and you should mention them in your resume. If you've changed too many jobs for various reasons, you change jobs every 2 to 3 years, be prepared to have a good and acceptable reason for explaining them. A valid reason would be something like, there was a merger, my job was outsourced, there was an economic downturn.
And if you have a lot of hops in your resume that are not related to economic downturn, being outsourced, or mergers, and more along the lines of you trying to find your niche and understanding how different departments work, that's fine too. Just know that these could be viewed as negative red flags, and be ready to tell your authentic story and the learnings you've had from your journey. And that's it from us, folks. We hope you enjoyed the content we had for you this week. Next time we'd like to talk about interview tips. Let us know if that's something that you would be interested to learn about. Until then, be happy, be safe, be you.